Quick video about the United States versus Iran. When I say we're going quick, so you got to listen closely. First things first, the United States would never, ever, ever defeat Iran in a war. Why, you ask? Great question. You see, the United States has the greatest military this world has ever seen, but if you fight an opponent that doesn't give up, then how can you win? Just take what happened in the Vietnam War, for example.
Let me tell you why I support Iran and despise Israel.
Oh yeah guys, welcome back to this channel. So right now something unusual is happening. You see, this time at a time when the world is bracing for conflict and tensions involving Iran continue to rise, a message is quietly but powerfully emerging from within the Black American community. So guys, let me just roll these clips, then I'll be coming back with more commentaries, and in case of any thoughts, kindly feel free to let me know in the comment section. Otherwise, stay tuned.
I'm sitting here having coffee and reading the news. It's the way I like to start my morning. And here's an article in Reuters. Israeli tank fire kills 51 people in Gaza crowd trying to get food. So there you go. Now, Israel has murdered too many innocent people for them to get away with the excuse of defending themselves. Israel is not defending itself. Israel hasn't been defending itself for quite some time now. Israel is a terrorist organization. Israel is a genocidal organization that needs to be stopped. And too many people are afraid to say that because they're afraid of being accused of being anti-Semitic. It's got nothing to do with being anti-Semitic. We're talking about the military leaders, the political leaders. We're talking about killing innocent people. And Israel's genocide, Israel's murder of innocents can no longer go unpunished. And I hope other Arab nations in that region decide to join with Iran and put an end to Israel. That's the only way there's going to be peace in that region. So long as Israel is calling the shots, there'll never be a Palestinian state. And what are those Arab nations waiting for? Are they waiting for the United States to give them a Palestinian state? Are they waiting for Netanyahu to say it's okay for the Arabs to have a Palestinian state? That's never going to happen. It's about time countries, these leaders in the Middle East, stop bowing before Israel, stop bowing before the United States, stop bowing before Europe, and stand up and take control and ownership of their own region. That's the only way you're going to have peace in that region. And if you're waiting for the United States and Israel and Europe to give it to you, it's never going to happen. I, for one, am counting on Iran to put an end to Israel.
Did you know that during the 1979 Iran hostage crisis, they released 13 Black American and female hostages about 2 weeks after the U.S. embassy was seized? They basically released them because they realized and recognized that Black Americans and women in general were also victims of American imperialism. And so they released them because they were like, hey, they're less likely to be spies, so we'll let them go. They held onto the remaining 52 hostages until about January of 1981. And then those same 13 Black American and women hostages were later excluded from the financial compensation provided to the other 52 hostages by the American government.
United States threw everything they had at Vietnam. The United States said, whoa, now that's America. North Vietnam, y'all give up? They said, nah, we just gonna chill in the forest. The United States said, what? Y'all saw like the helicopters and all that? They said, yeah, but we just gonna chill out here in the forest. Basically the same thing would happen with Iran and its vast mountain region. The four-star generals have come out and said the same thing, historians, blah, blah. So what is Donald Trump doing in Iran? He surely knows this. Well, Donald Trump is making a gamble, a terrifying gamble, and the world has a problem because of it. You see, the United States economy runs on oil. It could literally collapse tomorrow, rise tomorrow, all dependent on oil. Iran controls a place called the Strait of Hormuz. A big amount of the world world's oil flows through here, meaning Iran has a lot of power over the world's oil. I think like 80% of Japan's oil flows through the Strait of Hormuz. That's why, side note, people say that World War III would start if this conflict gets a little too messy, because the world is so interwoven together nowadays that if Iran were to close this little strait right here, because it's getting messed with from the United States, Japan would literally run out of oil in 8 months. The entire Middle East run out of food, water, because all their food and water comes through this little strait. So many countries might be forced to take action to protect their livelihoods, even though they don't want to. So the entire world is looking at the United States like, what are you doing? Iran is saying the same thing. They don't want to go to war. Their food and water comes through here. Their economy runs through here too. They're looking at the United States with the rest of the world like, what are you doing? The United States said, well, we don't know. We have no idea. It's him. You see, Donald Trump has a different plan in mind. Now, the simple version is Donald Trump would love regime change, right? Because Iran, again, has lots of power over the world's global economy, over the United States economy, very friendly with China, Russia, United States, Israel, Saudi Arabia would like a new leader that is more friendly towards them. And here's where things start to get wicked. Donald Trump's plan is basically, all right, let's just show the United States military might. Boom, 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 strike, strike, strike. That's why he took out Iran's leader so quickly. Basically, so we can come at you anytime, any place. You better just listen to what we say. But that didn't work. That just pissed off the Iranian people. Iran struck back at U.S. bases in the area. So this is why this is such a gamble. Donald Trump is trying to hit Iran fast, hard. Israel out there hitting schools saying, oops, it was an accident. But they said, oops, it was an accident, as they strike hospitals and innocent people many times. So it's not really looking like an accident anymore. The United States will come at your water supply. It'll come at your infrastructure. Their hope is Iran is going to say, oh man, we give up. You guys are too strong, too powerful. But again, what happens? Here's the gamble. If Iran says we don't give up, you're pissing us off, actually. Well, that means for however many weeks or years, the United States, meaning you, if you're an American citizen, will spend billions on missiles. People will starve because water supplies and food will be struck. Countries will take a massive hit to their economy because of this Strait of Hormuz we talked about earlier, where all the oil flows through. And if this war gets bad enough, China and Russia will be forced to take action because they rely on Iran for oil. So just to reiterate, Donald Trump's plan is, his hope is basically strike Iran hard, strike Iran fast, strike at infrastructure, and hope that they just give up. But historians, Donald Trump's 4-star generals, history has told us Iran's not going to give up. People aren't as weak as Donald Trump seems to be thinking they are mentally. And side note, for the people that may have been worried that Iran is going to strike the United States directly, Iran would never do that. For one, they understand that they're at war with Donald Trump's regime, not the American people. For two, they need the American people on their side so the American people can change the Trump regime for somebody that actually understands what's going on in the world. And for three, the United States is just too far. So at the end of the day, again, Donald Trump's gamble won't work, but a lot of people are going to get hurt.
When that man threatened Iran last week, he said to the protesters, don't worry, help is on the way. And he said to the Iranian leaders, y'all need to back up. And then Iran, the Iranian leaders or a spokesperson or someone in government said, we're not going to miss next time. And the U.S. at the White House level sort of quieted down. And you know what? Listen, I just remember, I'm old enough to remember, during the Iranian hostage crisis, as we called it here in this country, when the U.S. Embassy fell to the revolution there and American hostages were taken. And what most Americans remember is that the hostages were held for 300-something days, maybe 313 days or something. Americans started having a yellow ribbon to symbolize the hostages and all this kind of stuff. And the hostages were released. First there was an attempt to get them out, and that failed. And eventually they were released, and it was negotiated and worked out under Jimmy Carter. But Reagan had won the election and had worked out to hold those hostages there until he got in. So in pop culture, many people think Reagan got the hostages released with, but that's not what this video is about. You know what this video is about? When they had those hostages, the Iranians said, we're going to let the black people go. The Iranians let the black people go because they said, listen, we know y'all working here for this government, but we know you are not in control of that government over there in the United States. Y'all can go. And that's sort of some forgotten history about the what we call the Iranian hostage crisis.
Yeah, guys, as we continue watching, this is a time of rising global tension, and we have a conflict going on. So, we have a powerful message that is emerging from the Black American community. And this video here, we are here to explore how some Black Americans are speaking out. They are making it clear that they do not identify with war and they don't identify with violence. They do not identify with political agendas that do not represent their interests. And as this situation involving Iran continues to unfold, voices are growing louder. They are calling for peace. They are calling for solidarity, and they are calling for awareness. So across history, communities have often expressed support for people facing conflict and for people facing hardship. And similar solidarity messages have appeared in global movements and statements. Yes, so we are going to dive deeper into all these and all meaning behind all their statements, why they are distancing themselves from war, and also the historical context of global solidarity movements. Yes, so the message being sent to Iran and the world is broader, and the conversations around about identity, race, and politics are all here at its core. So this is not just about one conflict, it's about people choosing where they stand and making their voices heard in a world full of noise. So guys, is this a moment of unity? Is this a moment of protest or awakening? So guys, just watch till the end and decide for yourself. This video is not for is for commentary and discussion purposes only, and it aims to highlight perspectives and does not promote violence or political hostility. So guys, let's get into these clips. I'll be coming back with more commentaries. Stay tuned.
This message is for all the Iranians, coming from black folks. We didn't vote for this. We didn't vote for this mess in 2016. We didn't vote for this mess in 2020. We sure in the hell didn't vote for it in 2024. Only thing I ask, if you all do anything over here in the States, anything, please give the opportunity of black folks to get out of there before you start doing whatever you want to do. That's all I asked. Oh, and by the way, many Palestinian Americans who could vote over here, they also advise people not to vote for VP Harris. They advise them to vote for that person in the White House. So I'm just throwing that out there. I know we've had our differences in regards to when we come into your store and whatnot, but at the end of the day, we did not vote for this. So just make sure that if you see us, give us opportunity to clear out. That's all I'm asking.
So what is happening right now was not really what people expected. And it's not, instead of rallying behind war, instead of echoing political talking points, many voices are choosing something different. They are choosing distance. They are choosing reflection. And in some cases, they are choosing solidarity. You know, for decades, Black Americans have had a complicated relationship with war and foreign policy. From the past conflicts to the modern day military actions, there has always been an underlying question: whose fight is this, really? This is not just about politics. It is about history. It is about lived experience. And many feel that while they are expected to support national agendas, their own struggles at home are often overlooked. And now, as global tensions rise again, that question is coming back. And it's coming back louder than ever. Yes, across the social platforms, conversations, and community discussions, a clear message is forming. Some Black Americans are saying, we are not part of this war. Yes, and even deeper than that. Yes, so there are voices expressing solidarity with the people of Iran. They are separating governments from everyday citizens. This is not about supporting conflict. It is about recognizing humanity on all sides. It is about saying We understand struggle. We understand being caught in systems beyond our control. Yes, so moments like these reveal something bigger than headlines. They show how communities think, how they feel, and how they choose to position themselves in global events. For some, this stance is about peace. For others, it's about protest. And for many, it's about drawing a line between government decisions and personal identity. Because at the end of the day, not everyone sees themselves reflected in the actions taken on the world stage. And this also opens up a deeper conversation. What does solidarity really mean in today's world? Can people stand with others across borders without supporting governments? Can communities choose neutrality in a time where pressure to pick sides is intense? And more importantly, who gets to decide where loyalty belongs? These are the questions being asked right now. So there is also a noticeable shift happening. More people are thinking independently. More people are questioning narratives. More voices are questioning narratives. More communities are choosing to speak for themselves. And that shift, it's making some people uncomfortable because it challenges expectations and breaks away from what has traditionally been assumed. So, as the world watches tensions rise and as headlines continue to shape perception, one thing is clear, that not everyone is moving in the same direction. Some are choosing peace, some are choosing distance, and some are choosing to stand in solidarity with people and not politics. So the real question is, what does that mean for the future? And more importantly, will more voices begin to speak out? So guys, if you found this perspective interesting, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me in the comments, do you think people should separate themselves from global conflicts like this or take a stand? Thank you for watching. Of course, all credit belongs to the original creators of the video. Thank you. Be blessed. Peace be with you. Until the next one, like, subscribe, comment, and share.